Joker is directed by Todd Phillips and stars Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro. The movie tells a story about a man named Arthur Fleck who's been beaten down by society for far too long, and that eventually culminates into his transformation as the Joker. I remember when this film came out back in 2019, there was so much controversy surrounding the nature of the film, the violence it depicts, how it is depicting incels or people with mental illness, and how all that's going to cause violence. It was crazy controversial. Like, it was in the news, really. Everyone's like putting out warnings and everything. It's going to cause mass violence. It didn't happen. It was all for nothing in that regard. But it also got a number of accolades back then and numerous awards. I mean, I think it won the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival, if I remember, and it was later on going to win like Best Actor and Best Score for Joaquin Phoenix and Hildur Guðnadóttir. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. It was like really praised, but also like really controversial at the same time. It was crazy. What are my thoughts on this film? All in all, despite all of that, I think this film is incredible. While flawed, it still holds up really well. It is beautifully directed, beautifully shot. The music is haunting and is one of my favorite scores for any comic book movie. And the performance by Joaquin Phoenix, so mesmerizing. There's no way to put in any other words. Like, this performance, specifically from this actor in this role, is going to stand the test of time. This character that Arthur Fleck is someone who is obviously tortured and tormented and is going through a lot, but at the same time, despite you feeling bad for him at many moments in a movie, make sure you feel bad for him, you also feel uneased by him. There's always a sense of darkness, a sense of evil that is brewing within this character that is trying to let out and cause Arthur to commit all these heinous acts that will eventually lead him to become the clown prince of crime of Gotham. And how the movie gradually builds upon each scene with Arthur that leads him to this point, with each kill, with each moment of self-discovery. It becomes really compelling and a really interesting character piece about how someone with mental illness could eventually go down a dark path. And all that is told with beautiful cinematography and music that complements these scenes immaculately. Hildur Guðnadóttir's score is haunting and absolutely enthralling. There are many moments where the music does swell up a bit, only to lead to a much darker tune that gets you in an uneased feel of the scene that is brewing. And the cinematography is absolutely perfect. This movie makes Gotham feel like a dump, like the worst place imaginable to live in. You understand how people are living in poverty, how the rich are very much not that caring all about the little people, at least to Arthur's perspective, because the entire movie does not have a single scene where Arthur is not in it. Only him is like in each and every scene, in each and every shot. He is the movie. He is the point of view. We're learning everything through his perspective, which leads us to the unreliable narrator of the film, Arthur Fleck himself. There are many moments in the film where it is obvious that he's just thinking of something in his head, and sometimes we don't know it's obvious. Sometimes things are happening and we just assume that that's the reality, but no, that part, including some scenes with his neighbor, are in his head. which makes you look back at some of the film and trying to wonder how much of this really did happen. And it leaves this origin story feel like it is free for interpretation. Like, what really did happen? And I think that is what got me really into the film, is how it portrays Joker's origin with a sense of mystery still. And the fact that there is a mystery behind his origin still, even by the end of the film, makes this character of Arthur Fleck even scarier, and is very akin to the character of the Joker. And all of this culminates in a fantastic 10-minute sequence where Arthur Fleck finally becomes the Joker, puts on the clown makeup and is on his way to the Murray Franklin show, and he causes riots along the way. And throughout the film, because of his depression, he always felt the need to hopefully end himself and end this miserable life. There are many points in the movie where he has a gun in his hand and is mimicking shooting himself and blowing his brains out. And he's about to do that on live TV on the Murray Franklin show, but we see something in him change. The more he talks, the more he expresses himself and what he's been through, the more you start to realize something different is about to happen. And so when he blows Franklin's brains out after expressing to the entire world what he's been through and how no one has cared for him or anyone else who is like him, you do understand him. But because he decided to shoot a guy's brains out, you are automatically just in as much fear as everyone in the audience in that scene, and you are just bewildered as to what just happened. And seeing all the rioters cause mayhem across Gotham and free Joker from going to prison for a tiny bit, and he's able to finally express himself to a group of people that does accept him only for the evil brewing inside him. It is a tragic ending, and I loved how the movie decided to end off on that incredibly dark note, especially with the fact that we also get the Batman origin here, how that nicely weaved into the story with Thomas Wayne supposedly being Joker's father, but that not being the case. The movie decides to throw Thomas Wayne under the bus here, as in Joker's words, he gets what he deserves. All in all, this is just to say that I found this film to be absolutely incredible and really engaging. If I were to have any flaws, it's that there are some sequences where the film is way too similar to films of Martin Scorsese's filmography, most notably Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. This movie takes a lot of inspiration from those films, and while it does feel like its own thing, there are a few sequences here and there where it does feel like it is a bit too similar to those films, in my opinion. I think it could have dialed back on trying to feel too much like a Martin Scorsese film. The more it focuses on the Joker himself as a character and what he's going through, the better the movie was. But just those few moments in the film took me out for a little bit. But apart from that, and admittedly a bit of pretentiousness with some moments of dialogue, I found this movie to be great. I thought it was a great character study of the Joker. I thought it was a great character piece with excellent filmmaking and acting. This is the film that I highly recommend, though I do understand why it can't be for everyone. It is still, in my opinion, a really fantastic film that is going to stand the test of time. And for that, I'm going to give Joker an A. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.